Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBerry555, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the third episode of Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Shuttle to Kenfori. So, the premise of this episode is that, the gone DNA that's infecting Captain Batel, yeah, it's not fully gone, so they have to figure out a new thing to do in order to try to cure him. So, the plan is they're going to do an unsanctioned, unofficial mission to the Kenfori system in order to recover a plant specimen that they hope they can use to synthesize a cure. But of course, nothing is that simple. No. One, the plan is a no-fly zone, according to the treaty that ended the Klingon Federation War. Not only that, too, but they gotta make sure the Klingons don't discover them. And, of course, they gotta make sure, Starfleet, they don't get in trouble with Starfleet, which, of course, they won't. Why would they? And, the things don't go well on the planet, because, one, the Klingons arrive, mainly because the daughter of Ambassador Ra from a previous episode, basically, when her father decided to become an ambassador and help the Federation pursue peace, that brought dishonor on their house, and the only way she could regain the honor is by killing him. But now that, M'Benga killed her father, she has to kill M'Benga in order to get her honor back. It's like, Klingons. So there's that going on. And then also, there are zombies on the planet. Okay, M'Benga doesn't want Pike to use that word, but it is zombies. And it's actually because of the plant that they're going to get. Basically, things went bad when the Klingons invaded and turned every non-plant life form into a zombie. Thankfully, by this point, it's not airborne anymore, only bite-borne. So yes, they're doing a zombie episode. And actually, I gotta say, Star Trek Strange New Worlds has done, I think, a really fun job doing these kind of genre episodes. They've done a musical episode. They semi-did an animated episode when they crossed over with Lower Decks. But, the next episode is called A Space Adventure Hour, and that sounds like it's going to be a genre episode. I believe I saw a promotional material, though, either are going to be doing one in this season, or next season they're going to be doing basically a Muppet-style episode with Muppets. So it seems like they're experimenting a lot with genres, which I think I actually really like that. I think it's a neat way of, exploring the themes of Star Trek in a unique way. Star Trek, like Star Wars, I think, are types of franchises that can really adapt itself to different genres, because the genre is sci-fi, and sci-fi is a very wide-encompassing genre because it more describes the type of setting. But ignoring that, we need to actually talk about the actual episode. So, also too, I should say this away mission was going to be small, just M'Benga and Spock, but Pike wanted to come, so Spock stayed behind. And what Pike doesn't know that M'Benga, what Spock, what I think Nurse Chopper, and what Batel knows is that this plant, the cure they're going to synthesize, is not a traditional cure. The idea is basically to try to get her body to accept the gone DNA as a part of her, basically turn her into a gone human hybrid. How much they're going to do that, I don't know, but that's essentially what they're going to try to do. And they didn't tell Pike because they knew his emotions would get in the way. And he pretty much admits that much at the end. He does say that he wanted to be a part of the discussion so he could, say, I support your decision, yada yada, but Batel rightly points out that both her and him know that his emotions will get in the way. Which I just kind of love that everyone just yep, Pike is the emotional one in that relationship. I just love that. Great reversal of the typical trope. The emotional woman. I love how they did this as a reversal of that trope, but in a way that feels as fulfilling, as interesting, rather than as, just doing a trope in reverse, which is not always a fun thing to do, depending on what the trope is, and in this case, that would not have been a fun trope, but they managed to do it in a way that makes it fun and interesting, and helps advance the characterizations of all the characters involved. that's a lot of way to say, like, I like what they did. Also, I should say, going on the Enterprise itself, when Pike and M'Benga fail to check in, the Enterprise needs to slowly sneak into the system to avoid detection by the Klingons. But Ortegas, well, she kind of went the more the bold approach, and I mean, her initial suggestion, I think, would have been a great plan B, except for it's extremely dangerous and a little bit stupid. Warp into the upper atmosphere, beam Pike and M'Benga out, and warp out before anyone can discover it. And there's some problems. Now, two of the technical problems, Scotty does have a workaround. That being, they can, actually one of them. The one of them being able to beam them up shortly after getting out of warp. If they modulate the transporter just right, it can work. But they gotta make sure they warp into the right location, because the upper atmosphere is fine, but a little bit lower, no bueno. But this is, I think, all part of the teeing up a major character story for Ortegas, who has been lacking that in the previous 2 seasons. And like all the other characters, she's just not gotten any kind of character development. And I think this is part of teeing it up. The last episodes re-established that the after effect of the Gorn has really hurt her. And while she passed her psych evaluations, it's clearly her experiences are still affecting her. So at the end of the episode, Una decides to take Ortegas off the duty roster for 2 weeks and have her point to the warrant officer for chain of command training. I think this might be one of the few times warrant officers are explicitly mentioned in Star Trek. Crewmen have been mentioned on times as well, but warrant officers, especially in the U.S. military and U.S. Navy, which this is from a lay perspective who has only done cursory research, but warrant officers have generally been the people you have a technical skill that is very important for the military, and so you shouldn't be an enlisted or a non-commissioned officer, but you don't have maybe the education, you didn't go to academy to get a commission, so you get a warrant instead. And this comes back to, Age of Sail, British Navy too, and how I got transferred into the American Navy and all yada yada yada. Complicated stuff, but actually mentioning warrant officers I think is really interesting and adds some additional richness to the world of Star Trek. Is there more I can say? Oh yeah, because there is a lot in this episode as well. Spock does a mind meld with Batel to try to get her to help calm her down because the pain meds are not working anymore. And they both basically experience a vision of that something with the Gorn. Now, could that have been connected to what both of them knew they were going to do with that plant and what they're going to synthesize and the worst case outcome? Potentially, or is there something else going on? Both cases are interesting, and I'm interested in seeing which one they decide to go with. But that's what I have to say. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.